when the power fault occurs, it's not going to damage the disk. It's going to erase the disk content. To provide security and privacy for your data, you can use two-factor authentication. Whatever the connection you're going to provide, before that you want to secure your hardware with the configuration as well as by physically. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. I am Revati, Faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyashram, First Grade College, Mysore. We are on the 8th session of Introduction to Computer Network. In my today's session, I am going to deal with threats to hardware. Before going to start today's session, let me to recall the things what I discussed in my last session. In my last session, I discussed threats to the user. That means what are the different types of threats that's going to happen with the user. But in today's class, I'm going to deal with threats to the hardware. That means what are the different kinds of threats can be happened with the hardware. So here the hardware problems are too common. That means whatever the computer system, we are going to consider the first problem here we are going to face is hardware problem. So that means hardware failure. So when the PC gets old, that may start acting unusual and damage some data before it totally dies. That means when the PC or disk get old, then it is going to start acting as unusual and it is going to damage or erase some of the data. Actually, it is going to die. So unfortunately, hardware errors occurs frequently and it is going to damage the data on even young PCs and disk. That means unfortunately we are going to happen hardware failures frequently. That means every day we are going to face hardware failures. In that first one, we are going to have power faults. That means each time you are going to face power failure. So the power failure is a most common problem in theft to hardware. So the power failure is the most common theft to hardware. So here the power failure of a similar nature would include voltage flickers and frequency shifting. That means the power problem is a most commonly occurred problem in theft to hardware. So what kind of power failure here it is? That may be a voltage flickering or the frequency shifting. That means voltage frequency shifting. So it can cause data problems, particularly if they occur when the data is being written to the disk or data in the memory generally does not get corrupted by the power problems. So here the power problems like voltage, that is frequency shifting or voltage flickering, occurs during the writing of data to the disk. So here the data in the memory generally does not get corrupted by the power problem. It just get erased. That means whatever the data you're going to write during the power fault, so here the data are not corrupted. What is going to happen? Whatever the data you have written, that is going to erase. So it is mainly going to erase. So the problems are serious enough. That means if the important data get erased, that creates a huge number of problems. So here the main fault here is power fault. So the power fault occurs during the writing of data to the disk. So here when the power fault occurs, it's not going to damage the disk. it's going to erase the disk content. Moving further, we are going to have age. So here it is not magic. That means like human being, in computer hardware, the age matters. So it is not a magic. As computer age, they tends to fail more often. So when the computer age is going to increase, the computer is going to tend to failure. So the electronic components are stressed over time as they heat up and cool up. That means whatever the electronic components we are going to use, that is going to stressed up as the heat up and cool down. So the mechanical components simply wear out. So the next type of threats to hardware here is, that is malicious or careless damage. So someone may accidentally or deliberately delete or change your file. That means the one who going to use your computer system, they may intentionally or accidentally delete the file or erase the file, or they may modify the files. If you won't keep your PC locked in safe, that means suppose if you want to protect your computer as well as data, then you want to keep a lock or password to computer system. Moving further, we are going to have another type of threats to hardware, that is magnetic zamps. So here computer data is generally stored in series of magnetic changes on disk. That means the data are stored or written into the magnetic disk. While hard disks are generally safe from the most magnetic threats. That means suppose if you are using hard disk, then whatever the data you have stored in the hard disk, that provides more security for your data, because they are encased within the computer component. That means they are separated within the computer component. Floppy disks are highly vulnerable to the magnetic. That means the most common threats to hardware in that the magnetic zamps that most frequently occur in floppy disk. The next type here is unprotected local access. That means so here the some hardware can be accessed locally through a managed Ethernet or serial interface. That means the sum of the hardware components are accessed by using Ethernet. Ethernet means LAN and serial interface. So if the connections aren't locked down, that means suppose if we did not provide any proper connection, that means the connections are not locked down, then both the configuration and physical. That means whatever the connection you are going to provide, before that you want to secure your hardware with the configuration as well as by physically. Moving further, we are going to have essential computer security measurement. That means how to protect our computer. What are the steps required to protect our computer system? So the essential measurement required to provide security. So in that first one, use strong password. So while providing password for your computer system, use strong password. So a strong password are vital to a good online security. Suppose if you want to provide online security for your computer system, then use strong passwords. Suppose if you are using strong password, then it is very difficult to the hacker to guess the strong password. So using a combination of capital and lowercase letters. That means while creating password, use combination of capital as well as lowercase letters as well as numbers, and use some of the symbols in between 8 and 12 character long. That means while creating any password, use or create strong password. To create strong password, use small letter or capital letters along with the digits as well as some special character. And the length of the password may be in between 8 to 12 characters. It is very difficult for the hacker to analyze and crack the strong password. Moving further, we are going to have control access. That means make sure that individuals can only access data and services for which they are authorized. That means in control access, we want to make sure that the particular users can only access the data that is allotted. That means that is authorized to the user. The example here is control physical access to premise and computer network. That means we want to restrict the computer network access. At the same time, we want to restrict the access to the unauthorized users. That means we want to restrict the unauthorized user for the network access. At the same time, we want to limit the access to data or services through application control. Then we have to restrict what can be copied from the system and save the storage device. That means we want to restrict the copy of the data as well as the system storage device. At the same time, we have to limit sending and receiving a certain type of email attachment. Moving further, we are going to have put a firewall. That means the firewall are very effectively gatekeeper. That means suppose if you are using net, that means internet connection to your computer system, then provide a firewall. That means establish a firewall connection. So here the firewall are effective gatekeeper between your computer system as well as internet. I repeat, suppose if you are going to use internet to your computer system, then make sure that the firewall is must on. Another security here we can able to use security software. That means to protect your data from the hacker, we want to use security software. So you should use security softwares like anti-spyware, anti-malware and anti-virus software. So it is mainly used to detect and remove the malicious code. So here to provide the security for your data as well as computer, use security softwares like anti-spyware, anti-malware or antivirus, that is mainly used to detect and remove the malicious code. The next security measurement we can able to take here is update programs and systems. So update contain vital security upgrades. That means you want to update your computer system frequently in order to protect your data. So make sure that you keep your software and device up to date. Each time upgrade your computer system, make sure that whatever the software you're going to use, that is up to date in order to avoid falling to criminals. Moving further, we are going to have protecting yourself. That means how we can able to protect ourselves. In that first one, back up your important data. So it is always important to have more than one copy of most important data. So consider the example, in your computer system, you have saved your personal information like bank details, credit card details, so on and so. So what you want to do? You want to take the backup of that important data. So the backup of your important data is always important. Make sure to back it up frequently and keep a safe offline copy. That means take a backup of important information or data and keep the backup safely in offline. The next precaution we can capable to take here is limit sensitive personal information on social media. So while displaying information on social media, you want to limit your personal information. So what you want to do? You want to display or you want to enter only the basic information which is required by the social media. So whether you are able to create a new social media account or you already have existing one, make sure that you only enter the basic information required to get the account activated. So for example, consider that you want to open Facebook account. So while opening Facebook account, just feed or enter only the basic information that is required by the Facebook to open your account, and do not provide excess information about you in order to avoid risk. Moving further, we are going to have enable privacy and security settings. So most of the social networks are open to public by default. That means suppose whatever the social network you are going to use, that is open to public by default. That is by nature it is public. So all the user can capable to access social network. So privacy is typically basic or turned off and security is optional. That means suppose if you are going to use the social network, then make sure that public by it is default, privacy is typical, basics or turned off, and security is optional. Make sure to review what privacy and what security options are available. That means before going to use social network, just go through the review of the privacy and security. Then provide the security and privacy for your data. Make sure the security is sufficient for the type of data or service you plan to use your account. That means suppose if you are using Facebook account, then you can able to set the privacy and security for your data. As well as suppose if you are using WhatsApp, there also you can able to set the privacy and security for your WhatsApp data. To provide security and privacy for your data, you can use two-factor authentication. So where you can able to find two-factor authentication, that is in your Gmail account. So by using your username and password, you can able to log into your Gmail account. At the same time, it is going to ask one-time password. So that is sent to your mobile number. Now you want to enter that one-time password. Based on that, you can able to provide the two-factor authentication to your Gmail account. Moving further, use a password manager. So if you have n number of accounts, then it is very difficult to remember the passwords. In that time, you can use password manager. So here the password manager is responsible for managing and remembering the passwords. So here if you have many accounts and passwords, opting to use a password manager. That means suppose if you are going to use many accounts and each accounts having different password, then it's better to use password manager to make securing and managing your accounts easy. So here the password manager helps to track the age of each password and it provides the additional security to your password. Moving further, we are going to have limit social logins. So many offline services have social login that is known as single sign on. So instead of opening many social logins, you must use single sign on option. So this means that you can sign up for new account by using your Google or Facebook and so on. So instead of creating many social logins, you can use the existing login to log into new social login. So here you can use Google Plus or Facebook by using sign single on method. So here this offering solve this issue of remembering multiple password. That means this is mainly used to solve the problem of remembering multiple password. So it's mainly used to limit social logins. Instead of creating many logins, use single signed login and use Google Plus or Facebook to log in. Moving further, we are going to have run antivirus scan and install software updates. So frequently you want to scan your computer system as well as data because the data may get infected by the malicious software. In order to avoid that, you want to scan your computer or data frequently. So if you are a victim of a cyber attack by installing or updating your antivirus software. That means if you are the victim of a cyber attack by installing and updating your antivirus software. So example for antivirus software is Kaspersky, Avera. These are the example for antivirus software. Running a full scan, that means after installing antivirus software, run your system. That means run full scan and patching your computer system with the latest security updates or change your password security. That means after installing antivirus software to your computer system, do the full scan, patching your computer system, then change your old password to the new password for the security purpose. Then this is why the IT security team at work constantly tells you to change the password. That means most of the IT companies, they are going to tell frequently change your password because of these reasons. So here you want to run antivirus scan as well as install your software updates. That means whatever the software you installed in your computer system, you want to update it frequently and it is in daily basis. At the same time, you want to install antivirus software. At the same time, you want to run antivirus software and you want to scan all the document which is present in your computer system. Think before you click. That means in social media, frequently we are going to get many links. So before going to open any link or before going to click any link, think twice in order to avoid the accident. So here we are a society of clicker. That means we are going to click the link frequently. So we like to click on pictures, address, hyperlinks and more. That means we are going to frequently click pictures or address or hyperlinks. So always be conscious of receiving any message with a hyperlink. That means be conscious while opening any mails or any website. Don't click the hyperlink because the hyperlink contain any malware. When you click particular hyperlink, the particular hyperlink may get any malware. So when you click that, the particular malware is going to install in your computer system. So in order to avoid that, don't click any hyperlink without the necessity. So do you know the person whom sending it? Ask people whether they actually sent you something before clicking on potential malware. That means whenever you receive any message or any hyperlink, before going to open that hyperlink, you call that person. If you know that person, you make a call that person and confirm the thing. Then only you click that hyperlink. Otherwise, no need to click that hyperlinks. So here, before going to open or click any hyperlink or email, think twice. Is it necessary to click the email or hyperlink? Because each hyperlink or mail may contains malicious code. When you click that link, the particular malicious code may get installed to your computer system. Then it starts corrupting your computer system as well as data. So in my next class, I'm going to discuss the protect your privacy. That means I'm going to discuss about how to protect your privacy. So in my today's session, we discussed threats to hardware. That means what are the different kinds of threats for the hardware. At the same time, how to provide privacy for our data and how to secure the data. Thank you for watching my session. Let's meet in the next session. Until then, take care. Thank you.